Welcome to GBALL VISION, everyone. I hope you are having a fantastic day today. We are deep diving into the CJRB Chord. Now, this is one of CJRB's newer button locks. I've had some time to carry this, use this, spend some time with it, going over the knife, using it, seeing how well it holds up. And we'll start off with some materials. This has a stone washed RPM 9 drop point blade. You have a nice swedge going to the tip there, which is going to aid in giving this boy some nice tip strength. You have a nice standard drop point shape here. You have dual thumb studs and a rear flipper tab for the deployment options. You have green micarta on this version, open construction, 2 standoffs. This will be left-hand friendly. You have a deep carry steel rollover clip. All the hardware has been blacked out, including some pivot collars. I think it gives it a nice contrast. Then you have a satin pivot button, and it's kind of a satiny stonewash or a shiny stonewash. So I think it looks very clean. I like how the liners are blacked out. So it doesn't make it look like a cheap knife. You know how a knife will have satin liners and satin hardware, satin everything, and it just kind of looks, sometimes it can look a little cheesy. And I don't believe this looks very cheesy at all. I think it looks very good. I think the only knock is the little CJRB there. I wish that wasn't there. It would look even better, and that's very minimal. I wish they would have done it smaller and closer towards the scales here near the tang, but they're getting better with it, and I would love to see them basically do away with it or keep it so small that you can barely see it. And then you have the RPM 9 on the back there, which I'll say it again, like I've said many times before, AR-RPM 9 is the only powdered steel that you are going to get in this price point. It is the only one. So, and tons of tests have come back on the RPM 9 since Artisan and CJRB have unveiled the RPM 9 steel, and it has done very well across all three of the major sections as far as edge retention, toughness, and corrosion resistance. It has done a very good job on the tests that I've seen. And in my own personal experience, it has done a phenomenal job. I probably have at least a dozen, if not 16 or 18 CJRB artisan knives in the RPM 9, whether they're satin, stonewash, coated. I have a bunch of them. Not a single one has had corrosion issues, not a single one. So that's definitely a thumbs up. The edge retention has been pretty damn good, at least on the examples that I have. And then the toughness, I have not had any microchipping. I haven't had any breaking of tips or cracking of the edges or anything like that. So I would say the toughness factor is also pretty damn good. And if you'd like to know more about RPM 9 or a certain knife and that steel in RPM 9, I would definitely recommend you to go over to Stas's channel. He has all kinds of testing done on the RPM 9, and he really likes it at the price point as well. So there's something to be said for that. The micarta is very well finished, and getting a bunch of their newer knives in a green micarta, they've done like 3 or 4 different variations of micarta. I've one standing by here, and you can just see the difference. It looks like a completely different micarta. It has a different shade and sheen to it. And then I have 1 or 2 other ones that look completely different than these two. So they're definitely using different things, trying to kind of hone in on the best for each knife, or just hone in on the best micarta they can get, which I applaud CJRB for. As far as the action, the thumb studs, the thumb flick, and the reverse flick are absolute money on this thing. My only two knocks on the whole knife, and we'll get those out of the way now, is the branding on the front of the blade, which is a very small thing at this point in time, and then the flipper tab. It leaves a little bit to be desired. You have to really give this thing the gas if you want to do the light switch or even the push button. The push button is better, but it still leaves a little bit to be desired. And I have yet to figure out how the thumb studs are so stout, but yet the rear flipper tab, it feels like I'm going from one knife to another. When I flip the studs, it's so good. And then when I go to the rear flipper tab, it feels like I went to a different knife or something. I don't understand it. I don't know if it's just my example. I've heard one other person say their flipper was also feeling fairly light to them. So I don't know what the deal is with that, but I can say if you don't plan on using this, or that's not a big deal, the thumb studs, guys, work absolutely phenomenal. Feels very good for a button lock thumb stud. The button is, it's fairly recessed. It don't stick out too bad, and even if you give it a little click, it will disengage, but you have to really push past that recess there. So you have to really push down in order to get that. But I have never had an issue disengaging a button lock, no matter what grip I was in. So, I could see if somebody was like gripping it like this and then they put their thumb here on the button. I don't know why you would do that. Just grab it in a standard grip. And if you feel like you must bring your thumb over, then just bring it over your fingers. You don't need to put it here. That's just my 2 cents. So, I think the mechanism is good to go. I have done some spine testing and whatnot, and it has held up good. I haven't had any failures under normal spine whacking type tests. Now, I haven't taken it and smashed it off a brick or something like that, but just typical, spine whacks where I would know if it's going to fail, basically, because other knives have. We'll go ahead and get into a little bit of specs here. And with this guy, you got to turn the roller the right way. So you're getting about 3¼ cutting edge, 3½ total blade, and then you're coming out to about 8 1/8 on your total length. We'll go ahead and check that handle. Coming in at 0.46, which is pretty standard. We'll check the blade stock here. About 122, 123. And then we'll just pick a spot. I'm a little off the edge. Coming in at 23 thousandths. Yeah, I'm a little off the edge, but I'm not redoing it. So I would say it comes down pretty thin. I don't think this was designed or created to be like an atom or neutron type slicer. I think this was meant to be built for a little bit of a heavier use, just based off the blade stock and kind of the design. It's kind of thick and kind of robust in some ways for a button lock. And as much as I have used it, it has done a very good job on all the things that I have used it on. So this is a little heavier of a knife. I don't think it's too heavy, but it is going to be a little, so about 4.3, 4.4. So ratios, guys, are going to have a fit with that. Why don't we go ahead and bring out some comparisons so you can get an idea. You just saw the liner lock Echo, so we'll go ahead and bring him out. And you can see that the cord is quite a bit bigger than the Echo. How about we bring out the Devo Knives Stout? And the cord is going to be bigger than that as well. How about we bring out the QSP Penguin Plus? And I was hoping that would be close. And that is pretty close. Very close. So if you have a Penguin Plus, this is going to be very close to that in a drop point configuration. Why don't we bring out some more CJRBs just to get a nice little reference. And here is the Riff, my favorite CJRB of the year, the best button lock of the year, and maybe the best button lock period as far as button lock action. The CJRB Riff is a thumbs up for me, and those are about identical in size. And how about we do one more? The standard pyrite is going to be quite a bit smaller than the cord. So would I recommend this knife? Yeah, I would. If you're looking for something with this aesthetic, you're looking for a button lock. The only thing is to keep in mind that the flipper tab may, and if that's not your style as far as worrying about a nice stiff detent and all that sort of thing, if you just want to have the ability to get it out, then this is going to be a good pocket knife for you to EDC. It's a great size. It's going to fill out a nice sized hand as well. And you kind of have this little guard here, a little guard here. It kind of locks you in nice. Not that you couldn't go over that in the back there, but I feel nice and locked in where I'm at. And then you have some jimping here. I think it's a great budget button lock for like 60 bucks or so. I think they come in 60 to 70, let's say, depending. I think it's a great button lock. CJRB does a phenomenal job with their button locks. I've said it time and time again, and I will keep saying it because they do. They make a great button lock. The only part they missed on, guys, was getting that flipper tab action. I don't get it though, because the Riff came out right after or right with this one, and this is flawless. Flawless. I don't, so I'm not sure what happened here. Maybe it's just a few of them, because if this felt like this, oh man, this would be another game changer here, because it's the same deployments just with a fuller instead of the studs. So I'm not sure why this one wasn't tuned like this one is, because this is just spot on. Everything that you could want as far as action in a button lock, the Riff has it. But I could recommend this. Just keep in mind that the flipper may leave something a little desired if you are an action kind of guy. Now, if you can live with just thumb studs and reverse flick and thumb flick, then this is going to be a nice choice as well. This will be good for EDC, some light duty work type tasks. It's going to hold up. It's going to be comfortable. Yeah, I definitely recommend it. Just keeping in mind the rear flipper tab might leave a little bit to be desired. That'll be it, guys. Give me a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below. If you are new here, hit the subscribe button down below the video or the GBALL Vision logo in the center of your screen. I'll throw up 2 new videos. I definitely recommend going and checking this one out. definitely, even if you watched it, I would definitely go check that one out again. Otherwise, guys, I love you, and I'll see you on the next one.